Hi everyone, and this is Krissy. And in this video, gusto ko lang pag-usapan natin ng konti si Saturn Retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. Ano ba yung magiging epekto nito sa ating lahat, overall? And good news ba siya or bad news or ano ba talaga to? First of all, I know maraming mga nag-circulate na news, which I think, coming from, on my perspective as an astrologer, parang 50-50 yung information doon. And I did promise mga Facebook group members ko to actually explain on this. However, nagkakaroon ng mga certain delays kasi tinatamaan din ako ni Saturn Retrograde. So I do apologize for that. And lalo na kung Libra rising person ka like me, Saturn usually supports you. So, pag may mga nangyayari kay Saturn like retrograde and all of that, there will be some form of inconsistency na mangyayari, which is can be difficult, pero it's not going to be very detrimental naman. Nothing too scary or anything like that, so don't worry. Anyways, para alamin natin kung anong epekto ni Saturn retrograde, kasi iba kasi yung meaning pag Saturn is retrograde sa natal chart natin. Literally, it functions in a different way. So, ang pag-usapan natin ngayon is yung transit ni Saturn in the sign of Aquarius na maglalast ng 5 months. So, basically, nag-start na to noong May 23. And mag-e-end siya ng October 11. Officially, by 11, direct na siya. So, yun. So, 5 months, ang tagal nun. And, first of all, ano ba si Saturn? Alamin natin kung ano si Saturn na. Saturn is all about foundations, yung government, it rules old people, it rules nasabi ko na pala yun. It rules yung mga stones, teeth, bones, structure, rules, and regulations. Alam mo yun, yung mga serious things in life, responsibilities, duties, work, yung mga ganyang bagay. Now, madalas, naiisip ng mga tao na si Saturn is like a bad guy na nagdadala lang ng delays, ng blockages, ng obstacles sa atin. Which, minsan, oo, meron siyang ganong energy. Kasi Saturn is like our teacher, our the Lord of Karma, the Lord of Time. So, ibig sabihin, may karmic connection ang influence ni Saturn sa atin. And at the same time, meron din tong energy wherein, mapapansin mo kung nasaan yung Saturn sa natal chart mo, you're either doing something na nagko-cause ng mga delays sa buhay mo. It's either that or ang bilis mong magkaroon ng Saturnian energy in that area of your life. So, it's either na ang tagal mong maging a certain person that is more matured and more responsible in life, or pwedeng ang aga-aga pa lang, alam mo yung bata ka pa lang, may mga certain responsibilities ka na agad na kailangan gawin, kailangan buhayin yung buong pamilya mo kahit na bata ka pa, alam mo yun. So, it works in different ways. And most of the time, hindi siya gusto ng mga tao. So, yun si Saturn as a whole. Now, ano ba ang Aquarius as a whole? So, iisa-isahin natin kasi very important to when we are looking into transits and making predictions and to see ano yung mga epekto ng mga happening in the sky. So, Aquarius is the water bearer. In modern times, it is ruled by Uranus. So, madalas parang may element of the weirdo, na parang kakaiba, si Uranus. So yun siya. Pero in traditional aspects, Uranus is actually ruled by Saturn then. And explain natin na it's more than just statistics ng mga old texts. Kasi kung iisipin nyo naman, Saturn, oo, can delay things, all about structures and all of that. Pero Saturn is all about growth din, alam mo yun? Nagko-cause siya ng mga radical changes. And alam mo yun, pag tinamaan ka talaga ni Saturn, parang nagulo yung buong mundo mo. So pag inisip mo ng mabuti, Saturn is both ruled by Capricorn, which is very fixated, hard-headed, alam mo yun? Basta ito lang yung alam ko, ito lang. Hindi ako mag-adjust. I mean, we're talking about yung literal na Capricorn na very traditional, focus on the old ways, but at the same time, from time to time, yung Uranus side ni Saturn can actually pop up and nagkakaroon ng new rules that you need to follow. And syempre, you're not even comfortable with that. So, yun. Meron talaga siyang Uranus aspect. So, there is a form of inconsistency, if you would ask me, lalo na kapag Saturn is in the sign of Aquarius. So, Saturn in Capricorn tayo during the time ng mga nag-lockdown, nagkaroon ng mga COVID, everything was, one way or another, may pagka-scary. Alam mo yun, hindi tayo makamove forward kasi nga Saturn is in Capricorn that time. Dito ka lang, kulong ka lang sa bahay. Alam mo yun, hindi ka pwede lumabas. Alam mo yun, parang may nakabantay sa'yo. Pero pag Saturn is in the sign of Aquarius, there is a form of freedom in the air. At the same time, since may Uranus aspect siya, I would say na parang inconsistent. At one point, nakakalabas tayo, nakakalaya tayo, parang ang saya-saya. Tapos biglang magkakaroon ng situation na parang, ayan na naman, lockdown na naman. So parang may inconsistency. Ganyan si Saturn in the sign of Aquarius. And since Aquarius is yung sign that actually likes destroying things, tapos rebuilding it all over again. So, may ganyang element si Aquarius actually. So, you will notice na kung ano man yung nangyayari sa Aquarius house mo, kung nasaan man dumadalaw si Saturn, magkakaroon ng sense na may kailangan kang baguhin sa area of your life dyan. It needs to be reconstructed, needs to be changed, and all of that. And Aquarius din kasi is a very social sign, Aquarius people is ruled technically ng 11th house, which is our goals, our connections to people, ng networks natin, friends, internet, technology, yung mga yan, masses of people. So, it actually affects a lot of human beings, if you would ask me. So, pag-usapan na natin kung ano si Saturn in the sign of Aquarius. Kaya nga, di ba, parang, dagdag ko lang. Kaya nga tayo nagkaroon ng mga bagong pasabog kasi kakaiba si Aquarius eh. So, parang, alam mo yun, may something na naging official na sobrang weird. And ang magandang example dyan is yung aliens news na nangyayari right now sa US. So, I think hindi alam ng lahat ng mga Pilipino yan. Pero for some people na active sa social media, for sure alam niyo na yung news na parang may mga UFO sightings nga daw. Pero this time, the government is actually acknowledging it. Hindi lang to parang official news sa US, like a lot of their TV segments, news program, lahat to pinag-uusapan na nilang lahat. Na alam mo yun, yung Pentagon, yung yung parang defense area ng US, talagang they're really talking about this na talaga. Na parang meron na talaga silang official team for researching kung ano ba talaga yung mga sightings na yan. So, alam mo yun, nakikita niyo ba yung element ng Saturn and the sign of Aquarius doon? Like, there's something that's really, really weird out there. Tapos, the government is actually acknowledging that finally, after a long period of struggle para doon sa mga pilots or navies na gustong dating-dati pa itackle ito. So, what happens now na retrograde siya? Well, pag retrograde kasi siya, nasasabi ko na to palagi, pag retrograde kasi yung isang planeta, hindi siya talaga bumabalik. or nagmo-move backwards. Pero nag-iiba siya ng movement na nagmumukha siyang gumagalaw ng paatras from Earth. It's only in our point of view, pero in NASA, or pag chinek mo talaga yung astrological happenings in the stars and all of that, hindi talaga siya nag-move backwards. Nag-change lang siya ng movement, and dun natin nakukuha yung notion of a retrograde. So yun talaga yung essentially yung movement niya in a very scientific way. And whenever that happens, yung feeling natin is as if mas malapit si Saturn sa atin. So, contrary to what other people say, na parang Saturn is retrograde, so magwala na tayo, we can manifest everything that we want, it's not exactly true, but at the same time, it has some form of truth. Okay, explain natin kasi medyo magulo, di ba? Hindi ka na i-restrict ni Saturn. Hindi na siya mag-create ng mga big blockages sa'yo. Kasi Saturn is going to force you to actually do something. May kailangan kang ayusin. It is the taskmaster kasi. So, ideally, hindi ka na niya bibigyan ng blockage kasi may kailangan kang gawin. You need to take action. Pero, madalas kasi, yung effect nitong retrograde na to is going to make you take a second look on things. You know, lahat naman ng retrograde internalizes things eh. So, there's always going to be an element na kailangan mo may pag-isipan, may kailangan kang ayusin, may kailangan kang, alam mo yun, lahat ng RE. You need to return into something, you know, mga ganyan. So, parang, in some cases, this can manifest in a way wherein, maybe may certain area kang ginawa or project or whatever it is, na ginawa before, but it's actually not working effectively, hindi siya beneficial sa'yo. Saturn retrograde is going to ask you to revise that, to change that. May kailangan ka ayusin. Maybe ginawa mo siya during a Mercury retrograde, and of course, nagkaroon ng mga mishaps, or maybe you did not do it in a way na makakatulong talaga sa'yo. Kasi nga, maybe your head was in the clouds during that time, and all of that. For example, kunyari, gumawa ka ng website during Mercury retrograde, and, you know, since RX mo siya ginawa, hindi siya masyadong naging patok. So, ngayon, ang gagawin ni Saturn is going to, you know, ask you to change that site, to do some form of, overhaul kind of look, alam mo yun. Kailangan mong baguhin maybe yung theme, lahat ng laman ng website na yun, kailangan mong palitan lahat. Kasi yun ang inaano ni Saturn sa'yo. Ngayon, may isip mo lang siguro na, hindi naman yun sabi ni Saturn, talagang feel ko lang palitan yung mga bagay before. But actually, influence kasi yan ang Saturn retrograde. So, mapapansin nyo, halos lahat tayo magkakaroon ng experience na, alam mo yun, meron na tayong issue na dinideal with right now, na issue na natin to before. It's just that there was no conclusion, hindi natin natapos, or maybe we ran away from it, or just maybe in-ignore lang talaga natin yung kung ano man yun. So, Saturn is going to ask us to redo that and work on that, so that magkaroon siya ng result that will lead us to the right path. So, ganon si Saturn retrograde. And hindi ko rin alam kung napapansin ninyo. Pero, I would say na itong Saturn retrograde, every time na meron kang plano na gustong gawin na bago, nagkakaroon ng delays. It's either maybe tinatamad ka, or nagkakaroon ng mga sudden changes, or things are not happening in the way that you are planning. So, nagkakaroon ng disappointments for some people. However, if you're actually working on things na nag-exist na before, mas mapapansin mo na mas may results ka na nagagawa or na-produce. So, may ganyang elements si Saturn Retrograde. And why is it very important ba? Yun po is dahil at some point around July, if I remember correctly, si Saturn and Jupiter is magkakaroon sila ng conjunction. Magsisama sila sa Aquarius. And then retrograde to. Tapos pag sinali pa natin yung Pluto retrograde and all of that, we are expecting, if you're going to ask me in a very predictions level, we are expecting something to change in a massive way. Meron siguro isang bagay na mag-fall apart kasi kailangan na nating may ayusin. Alam mo yun? Kailangan na nating magising sa reality. And again, since we're talking about Jupiter na din, it could be something that you have always wanted, something that naging wish mo, naging dream mo, or I don't know. It really depends how this is playing out to you. For some people, this can actually manifest in a way na kakaiba. Kasi depende din kung ano yung role ni Jupiter ng Sagittarius and Aquarius sa chart mo. And most of the time, it really depends kung paano si Saturn sa'yo as a whole. And na-mention ko to nung nag-live ako sa Facebook group ko na if very harsh sa'yo si Saturn, you will notice na pag retrograde siya, actually, mas nagagawa mo yung mga gusto mo. And dun nakukuha ng mga tao yung notion na you will be able to manifest things that hindi mo nagagawa before. Kasi nga parang, alam mo yun, parang pag retrograde kasi siya, Saturn is not being Saturn in a very stern manner. Parang may mga leeway siya kahit paano. And you will notice kasi na pag retrograde si Saturn, very unstable yung effect niya. And the same way, medyo similar pagka-invisible yung Saturn, but totally different. I just find it na may times na Saturn will really be stern to you, but at the same time, Saturn is going to be, will be very weird and random. Alam mo yun? Kasi Saturn conjunct Uranus ako. In Sagittarius, on my third house, my whole life. So, para sa akin, ever since, Saturn was never hard on me. Pero hindi ko masasabing super hindi siya naging hard. Kasi for sure, nag-cause din siya ng mga delays, ng problems sa akin. It's just that it did not happen in the way na kung paano sa ibang tao, basically. I mean, hindi ganun kalala. So, parang alam mo yun, it's still manageable and all of that. And madalas talaga, meron talaga akong ugali na parang it's either I'm too fixated about certain things or I'm just random. Alam mo yun, mood lang. So, may ganyan akong ugali. And even though wala akong planeta sa Aquarius ko, since my Uranus is nandyan sa third house, it is the most active area of my life. And napansin ko, simula nung nag-retrograde siya, mas sobrang feeling ko mas hindi na ako nakakapagpahinga. It's either super busy ko with hard work and all of that, or sobrang tinatamad ako, ayokong kumilos and all of that. So parang, alam mo yun, lahat ng mga information na sinabi ko sa inyo is really manifesting like that. It's either you're doing something about it or you're not. Pero, we should not also underestimate yung energy ni Saturn, actually. Kasi, pag retrograde kasi siya, imagine a teacher. Usually, di ba, nandyan siya sa center ng platform. Sa school, tinuturuan niya lahat ng tao. Nakabantay siya sa lahat ng tao. Pero pag retrograde siya, it's like Saturn chooses a target. Saturn chooses a student. And whenever may ginagawang mali yung estudyante na yan, papansinin niya talaga yan. And magiging fixated siya sa student na yon to correct the mistakes. Babantayan ka niya. Parang tutor, kumbaga. Which, for some people, can be, may not find it very comfortable. So, mas nakakadagdag yung pagkabaliw nila. Lalo na if they are affected by the lunar eclipse and mga retrogrades and Neptune, lalo na yung mga mutable sign. This is very common to them. It can really make them, alam mo yun, kung ano-ano na lang naiisip, ano-ano na lang yung mga nakukonclude nila, which can be very hard. So yun. So again, Aquarius can be very creative, very artistic, very free-minded, and always make sure na Aquarius is all about transformation. And madalas kasi pag kunyari, if you guys know about tarot reading, ang Aquarius is actually, for me, is the tower. Literally, it breaks things apart. Mahilig siya mag-break ng mga bagay-bagay. Kasi he wants to transform it and make it whole in his own terms. So may pagkaganon si Aquarius. Whether that is good for you or not is a different story, of course. So again, really depends kung saang area of your life. Pero for sure, meron tayong mga babalikan. And it could be psychological, it could be literal. May mga certain themes na dapat nating ayusin. Lalo na yung mga bagay na we did not end, we did not face, maybe we ran away from it. We will be forced to go back and deal with that, confront with that, find out the truth maybe. Alam mo yun, ayusin siya in a way that is going to be good for you, effective for you, mga ganyan. So, and usually, minsan, I'm not saying all the time. Minsan, this can trigger in a way wherein there is a lack of feeling safe. Minsan, so if lalabas kayo, mag-ingat kayo sa labas and make sure na hindi kayo nanakawan or wala kayong aksidente na may experience. Kasi when Saturn is retrograde, actually tinuturuan niya tayo eh. Did you learn the lessons that you had before? Or hindi ka pa rin talaga natututo all this time? Maraming na akong binigay na experience sa iyo. May nakuha ka ba doon? Or uulitin mo lang yung mga mistakes na ginawa mo na dati. Kasi if gagawin mo lang ulit yung mga mali mo, then I will give you some form of judgment and punishment once direct na siya. So, after na October 11, hindi pa to exactly magmamanifest, you know. In short, parang lalabas yung grade mo. Direct na siya ulit. Pero yung result ni Saturn and rewards is going to happen by the year of January 2022. Diyan mo talaga makukuha yung rewards niya if you have done a good job sa test niya. So, Saturn retrograde is a test of Saturn. Yes, may magagawa na tayo. We are free to do what we want. And ang maganda kasi dito is kung may problem ka man or feeling block, may obstacle or frustration, pag retrograde si Saturn, we are able to actually do something to change that situation. Gugustuhin nating baguhin yan, palitan yan, and all of that. The only key thing na talagang hindi mo dapat gawin is to start something new. I think yun siguro yung worst thing na gagawin mo. Starting a new project, creating a new store na literally na naimbento mo lang ngayon, or investing money, a lot of your financials sa isang bagay. Alam mo yun? Going all in sa isang bagay na naisip mo lang randomly during a retrograde, without any form of discipline, self-control, and all of that, I think you will regret that. And usually, even if makalusot ka man during a retrograde ng Saturn, pag direct na siya, it will all fall apart sa'yo. And Lalo na ngayon kasi nga, di ba, may mga retrograde energy tayo. Everything is really being internalized. And Saturn and Jupiter combination ng retrograde is going to ask us to rethink if this is actually the right path that we want to be in. Regardless kung kunyari, kung jowa mo ba yan, boyfriend mo ba yan, kunyari gusto mo nang pakasalan yung tao na yan. Parang ngayon biglang nag-retrograde lahat, biglang sasabihin ni Saturn and ni Jupiter sa'yo, sure ka na ba? Sure ka ba na yan talaga yung guy or girl para sa'yo? Kasi pag hindi, alam mo yun, they're giving you time to actually change your decision. Hindi naman ibig sabihin na babaguhin mo yung decision mo talaga. I mean, pwede. Pero ibig sabihin kasi, kumbaga, pag retrograde kasi, may mali na sa situation or maybe there's something that is unclear na dapat malinawan ka about. So, ganun siya most of the time. So, it doesn't mean na makikipag-break ka dahil lang na-confuse ka, but it's really more of, pag na-realize mo naman na ito talaga yung person na gusto mo, magkakaroon ng certain event na magsasolidify more of that relationship, more of that company and all of that. But I would suggest talaga, every time retrograde, whether Mercury retrograde, whatever retrograde, hindi talaga siya advisable in doing new things. One thing siguro ang Mercury retrograde, minsan na, kaya pa natin yan eh. Pero pag lahat retrograde, as you're going to do something risky, like some form of company, business, and all of that, mag-invest ka, I do not think that is the safest choice to make. It's just not possible. And marami na akong mga nakitang mga tao, nag-start ng mga company nila just to fall apart. Dahil lang na they underestimated the power of retrograde. So, alam mo yun, it's very tricky. It's very tricky. So, I would advise you to work on things that you already have and not focus on new things. Lalo na since Saturn is all about the past, alam mo yun, past, foundation, and all of that. And Saturn then is, as all about tradition. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan it's something that is solid. Ano ba yung solid sa buhay mo before? Diba? And Aquarius, this energy ng Aquarius is going to give that a jolt. To electrify that area of your life, to change that area of your life para mas maging buhay siya. So, ganon essentially yung epekto ni Saturn retrograde. So, it's not just about us blindly pursuing the things that we want, In fact, hindi mo nga pwede gawin yung mga yan randomly. Kung hindi, papagalitan ka niya. Alam mo yun? Si Saturn, I always tell to people na para tong pulis na akala mo minsan nakapikit or tulog, pero actually gising siya. And once ready na siya tumakbo, hahabulin ka niya until the end of the earth or something like that. So, ganun si Saturn retrograde. I do hope na naging mas klaro sa inyo at naintindihan niyo yung effect nito. I'm sure na since Aquarius siya, which is all about the masses of people, may strong effect din to sa government natin and us as a whole.